런던에서 차로 한 1시간 정도 밀턴이라는, 결국에는 여기로 와봅니다. 마샬 기타 앰프 공장입니다. 제가 초대받은 이유는 여러 가지가 있어요. 그 프로그램 중에 마샬 앰프가 실제로 어떻게 만들어지는지를 투어를 할 수 있는 좋은 기회가 주어져서 이렇게 오게 됐습니다. 취미로 기타 앰프를 만드는 입장에서 궁금한 점이 굉장히 많아요. 물론 제가 가지고 있는 질문들을 여기서 오피셜하게 전부 다 대답해 주시진 못할 거예요. 하지만 오늘 못한 질문은 제가 좀 정리를 해서 또 서면으로 질문을 또 따로 제가 좀 드리기로 했습니다. 여러분들, 오늘 영국의 마샬 앰프 공장에서는 이렇게 기타 앰프를 여전히 만들고 있구나. 그리고 영상이 좀 길 수가 있습니다. 웬만하면 편집 안 하고 좀 풀로 쫙 넣으려고 그러거든요. 대신 타임스탬프를 좀 넣어 드릴 테니까 그거 보시고 재밌는 부분만 이렇게 넘겨서 보셔도 굉장히 뜻깊은 영상이 될 것 같습니다. 한국인 중에 여기 오신 분들은 제가 최초는 아닐 거예요. 모르겠어요, 누가 왔는지 모르겠지만은. 하지만 유튜브로 이렇게 공식적으로 찍은 사람은 제가 최초 아닐까요? 제 돈 주고 온 거 아닙니다. 마샬에서 비행기표랑 호텔이랑 교통비까지 전부 다 제공을 해주셨어요. 책임감을 가지고 공장 투어 같이 해보도록 하겠습니다.
But in 1962 was when we sold the first amp. We've moved into this estate in 1966. So we moved into Milton Keynes in 66. So if you've got a Marshall amp that says made in England, if it's after 66, it's been on this estate. A present that was given to Jim Marshall. This is Zach Wild's leather jacket. So this one he wore pretty much on and off stage every day for about 15 years. So and he went out for a meal with Jim and he presented it to Jim at the meal. So this is the factory. Everything you see built is made to order, so it's already been ordered.
So how many units a day?
We don't do it in a day, we count it up in a week. So we do roughly about 450 to 500 units a week. And that depends, obviously because everything's made to order, it could be heavy on amps or it could be heavy on cabs that week. It just all depends.
So all depends on production?
Yeah, on what the orders coming in are. So one of the reasons we can make the amps so quickly is because of these two machines. So these can solder a complete amp board in under a minute. So what happens when the board's ready and all filled down there, comes into here, gets heated up to about 400 degrees. By the time the board's travelled from there to there, the whole thing's soldered. You can actually see one now. So there's the board. You can see the molten solders just come up in the middle. That's now being soldered. So this is where the boards are populated. So all the components are put in by hand. This is the hand wire line.
Yeah.
So this is where they make the circuits for like the 2203s and the hand wire range. One of these brown boards takes about 2.5 hours to do.
At this moment, what models are made in hand wire?
You've got the Blues Breaker, the 1974, I think the JCM 800. Once they're done, they all come over here. They go onto these two lines. So these are what we call the hand wire lines. So these make the whole amp one person. So they'll get their chassis from over there, this is prepped, so they have the front and back panels put on, the transformers fitted and stuff like that. Then they sit down at this desk and one person will build one amp.
How long does it take?
About 6 hours.
6 hours?
About 6 hours to build one. Goes to this room to be tested. Then if it passes, it goes onto one of these trolleys and ready to go. So there you go, there's a 59 hand wire.
Oh.
Completely built. So it's a piece of art really. Everything's done by hand. Everything has to line up the same way. Not because it makes it sound better, but it's easier to read and everything. And if you have to replace it, you can see it all. So you've got the finishing department here, you've got the covering department up this side, and then you've got the wood mill. So what we're going to do now, we'll go over to the studio, show you the new studio, then we'll come back and go back in the proper order. Right, if we come this way, so that was our building from 84 to 89. In 89 we bought this building, which was our next door neighbour, and joined them together, as you can see in the middle. When we bought this building, we inherited that building at the end, which was a scrap building at the time. It was a derelict building. Jim turned this building into his theatre. So this was it was called the Jim Marshall Theatre. It had a big dance floor in there, a big stage, red curtains all the way around it. And if you was endorsed by Marshall or Natal, you could use this space for free. So you could rehearse in there. So we've had artists like Zach Wilde was in here for a week rehearsing. Bands like Kasabian and that, they've all rehearsed in here. But because we got a record label, we needed a proper studio. So it took us about 5 years to build it. It's been open just under 4 years now. It's actually a commercial studio as well. So if you come with me, we'll show you inside. So this is our studio. And we'll come in here, we'll show you the desk and introduce you to Adam. So this is Adam, he's our studio manager.
What do you guys want to know about the studio?
Everything.
Everything.
We started a record label in 2018 and we ended up recording loads of awesome bands. And the first thing you do when you're building a studio is you think about the mixing console. I contacted a guy who lives locally who is the world expert in these mixing consoles. His name is Blake, and he is utterly mad and utterly brilliant. So he's the guy that looks after anyone from Benny from ABBA to Kate Bush to Metallica to Coldplay. Like he's the guy. And he had just taken this into his possession. So it's a 1974 Neve 8048. Yeah, it's a piece of rock and roll history in its own right. It's recorded the Rolling Stones, Thin Lizzy, George Michael. Through the other room we've got a massive live room, so we can kind of do everything from recording bands through to recording orchestras, choirs. Questions?
You never use Kemper or Fractal here?
What's wrong with you, man? Why would you come in here and ask that question? This is a commercial recording studio as well. So although we have a very large and well-stocked Marshall backline, if someone was to bring in something they wanted to use, I wouldn't say no. And we have used modelers, not the first choice. And actually one of the things that's quite nice about a place like this is we're able to change people's mind on that kind of thing. So we've had people that come in and go, no, I know the sound I want, there's the Kemper on that. And I'm like, well, why don't we set up an amp as well? And then they fade it up and they go, oh my God, what's that? It sounds amazing. And we go, it's a proper Marshall amp. They go, oh God, we'll record that instead. So there is definitely times and places for digital rigs, but we tend to have a more noisy recording session here, which I suppose the point.
Amplifiers do you have in
Oh,
the studio?
hundreds. I've got one of everything that they currently make over there, plus loads of other bits and pieces. So, I mean, there's any Marshall you want, I can, I've either got it or I can nick it from the museum, just don't tell Steve. Alright, cool. Right, Steve?
Yeah, we've done mate. I'm just wondering rubber weight. Rubber weight.
So we can do live gigs in here. The piano over here that everyone can use, the house piano is actually George Michael's.
No way.
That was George Michael's piano that he had in his house up until the day he died. It keeps going out of tune. So if you come in here and want to record something and you need a piano, there you are, George Michael's. Yeah, so in front of us we have the wood mill. We only use beech ply. It's the best stuff we can use for the sound. We use ply because it don't bend. We get it from Europe. Yes, from Europe. We used to use birch ply that we used to get from Europe, but we switched over to beech because birch is getting harder to get hold of. So the ply comes in I think it's 86-foot sheets. They then cut it down into different panels, put it all together using the old finger joins that we've always used. We don't go in here because it's so noisy, but we'll open the curtains and show you what it's like. So this is our wood mill, so you can see what it's like. And then everything goes into the middle portion where everything is hand sanded. And when they're happy with it, that it's smooth enough and ready to go, they'll stack it up here in each model. And then when it's going to be covered, goes onto this conveyor belt.
Custom color Tolex.
Yeah, we do. We have about 19 different colours now. We changed how we glued the Tolex on. Now we use a heat-treated spray glue. The cabinets go in here. They get heated up, so when we get sprayed, go to the next spray booth where they spray the paint. So it's a good thing for after sales as well, because if you rip your leather, heat it up with a hairdryer, it reactivates half the time. So there's Jim. This photo was taken January 2012, and then unfortunately Jim passed away in April that year. This was the last photo we had with him. So this is the design store, and you want to design it how you want it, we can do it. You can have different coloured Tolex, different corners, different fret. Doesn't affect the production time. You can have a unique one-off.
Do you have after-sales repair business in this factory?
We have a service department here, yeah. This is where we spray the insides of the cabs. These are combos, so you'll see inside them when they're finished. So we spray them black. If it was a 1960 cab, we wouldn't bother because you don't see the inside of it. Then when they're done, they go to the next spray booth and get sprayed with the glue. When they're sprayed with the glue, they're wrapped in the Tolex, and they're like this, so this is ready to go. If it goes too cold, they'll put it back on the belts and it'll go through. So it's pretty much exactly the same as how we done it in the 60s. It's all cuts and folds, and then he rubs it all down with the nylon bone to make sure it's all smooth and there's no bubbles. Everyone's trained in-house how to do it. Some people are faster than the other, depending how long you've been here. Paul's been here 37 years, so he's pretty good at it. We only use Celestian speakers. So they come from Ipswich, which is just up the road. So everything you see on the belt is a complete finished working unit, including one of our new ones, the mod shops. So that's one of our newest versions. Yeah.
I want to see how they adjust the bias.
It's all done on the back in that.
We have already been there.
Yeah, we've done when they build it, it's all set up like that. So then when they're completely finished, they all get little stickers on them, so we could know who builds what. But now customers keep hold of that picture sticker. The majority of people take a photo of their sticker, then come in here and trying to meet the person that built them. Comes through, yeah. Comes into this room and is plugged into a guitar. So everything we build comes into there. Yeah, go for it. All right, Andy. Just gonna stand here and film, all right?
Check everything over, you check corners, piping, feet to make sure they've got all the screws in. You check over the back, should be, goes with that. You should say 300 in there, which it does.
Sound-wise, do you check something?
Sound-wise, plug in and just one chord.
And you crank up?
It's all set, level.
Ah. It's automated machine.
Yes, it's an automated machine. So that's your audio and impedance for the cabs. This is your clear for testing on amps to make sure they're out and everything. So, and then we get your ticket. So you get your ticket. It's got all the information of where it's going and everything like that. So once we do that, sticks it on and it goes up to packing.
Ah, 800 mode.
Yeah. So give it a quick clean check over, make sure everyone's no marks on the panels, baffles alright. So check the back and then we give it a wipe over. And then the dust environment, so you get dust everywhere. Wait for a green light.
Ground check.
Yep. So ground check. Power up. Scan. All your information of what goes with what. And then we give it a test. Plug in.
Speaker.
Speaker.
Input.
Input. And then that's it, all done.
How many voltage variations do you have?
We got 120 and 230. That was 230. And what's coming in now?
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
All the metal work, all the chassis, everything you see in the building, all come out of this one room. What we do, we get sheets of steel come in, they put them onto that machine and that will punch out all the chassis. They're punching out foot pedals at the moment. So what he does, he cleans up the thing, takes the grease off it, then he'll hook it up onto the machine, then the machine will just run with it. No, it's steel, and we still use aluminium for the 74 chassis. So that'll run for about 20 minutes on one. So yeah, we've reissued the old Governor, Drive Master, Shred Master and Blues Breaker. So we've reissued them how they used to be made.
Any bending process?
It's done there.
Done there. Ah, the bending machine.
Yeah, so he puts it in, stamps his foot and that bends it. If he bends it in the wrong order, don't go together, so it's a ruined chassis. So all our big bits are out at the moment. So we've got number one. So this is number one.
45.
Yep, JTM 45. This is the first one we sold. So we put this one in the shop in September 62 and we sold 23 in one day. But we'd only made the one because it's all made to order. So this was when they didn't have a factory, they actually in the kitchens and that. And luckily it was given back to us part exchange before we moved down here. So the big one in the corner is a Motorhead one. So I'm slightly biased towards Motorhead. 100 watt head at the top, 4x12 in the middle and a 4x15 cab at the bottom. Then we got Guns N' Roses, we got a Slash one. Then the Bullseye's Zakk Wylde's. Then we have Jeff Beck's, he gifted us it a couple of months before he passed away. Yeah, and then we have Angus Young's from AC/DC that he played at Wembley Stadium last year. And then we got the only one that's real leather. So when we say they're leather, it's actually Tolex.
Yeah, Tolex.
This one is real leather. So it was part of our 40th anniversary. So it's called the Jag. And we've even got a foot pedal in there. It's just a little bit of gold. The first 10 we gave away. So we gave them to different artists, like Zakk Wylde and Eric Clapton and Dave Mustaine and that. We saw one on eBay a couple of months ago, was still going for £40,000. Yeah, the red one is actually a keyboard amp, so that's a 1x15 keyboard. So that's the same sort that John Lord from Deep Purple used to use. So this was Eric Clapton used this one last year in 24. He used that and played it. The pink and silver ones are Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day. He actually made these for us for the video we done about the headphones. So he actually sprayed them as his original 2 amps were. And then the metal grilled one is Zakk Wylde's, but it's not one that was made public. We only made them for him. And then we've got the Jeff Beck head up the top there. So that was never made for the public, the top one. We only ever made 3 of them.
Why is it 1959?
That's based on the 59's the bottom one. The one at the top is based on the JTM 45, but it's actually a 30. And we only made them for him for one tour. So we used them on one tour, then brought them back. We've got Kerry King's from Slayer. He turned up one day and dropped that off. The next two are Dave Mustang's. So when we done the Dave Mustang signature cab, he came in for a week to help us design it and brought in the black one. And then when he come back to actually build the first one, a couple of months later, he brought in the blue one. The Gibson is a Marshall Gibson. So there's only 50 of them in the world. They're part of our 50th anniversary. So it's got Marshall on the fretboard. It's also got Jim's signature up at the top. And then the Paul Reed Smith was made for Jim by Paul Reed Smith himself. And then the Jackson with Jim's face on was Jim's 85th birthday present from Jackson. And then the Ibanez at the back that's in two pieces, it's had its head smashed off it. That was Marilyn Manson. He smashed it up in Birmingham, then gave us it back, and we've never you can see here, we've never bolted it back together. We just left it in pieces. And then round here we've got Jim's drum kit. So Jim was a drummer, wasn't a guitarist. So we started in 1960 with selling drum kits, and then all the drummers used to hang about and bring their guitarists in, and that's how it all happened. You know, the guitarist turned up and wanted everything, and that's how we started. So the new pedals that we're selling now are actually based on the four there, and they were the four that we used as reference as well. But when we announced we were selling, we said that they will be exactly like these originals. So that meant we had to make sure every Pantone was exactly the same, because if we'd done them wrong, even though they'd sound exactly the same as the originals, people would think there was something up. They'd go on a forum and say, oh yeah, the Blues Breaker sounds exactly like the original, but why is it slightly different blue? So if you pick up one of the ones downstairs, it'll look exactly the same as them. Yeah, he's literally gone from being a drummer to having one of the biggest guitar companies in the world and can't play a guitar. I think myself, it was better that he couldn't play guitar, because he didn't go to the guitarist and tell them what they wanted.
Right.
So he'd listen to them.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he had so many good friends as guitarists, because he didn't push onto them what we were making. It'd be, well, what do you need?
Everybody move forward a little bit, don't be shy.
You put some Marshall.
We've got a lot of marketing, so we use a lot of like extra marketing products, whether they're